Hello, everybody. I'm David, and today I want to discuss love, the love of God. And I want to discuss why all we need is love. And what better place to do that than right here? This is probably the most peaceful place I've ever done a video, the most beautiful place I've ever done a video. Right here, right now. And so, here we go. So often, we love to, as Christians especially, we love to talk about the love of God. We like to talk about God, God's love, but I think one of the issues with talking about love is as many of us, and we know who we are, I was one of them, we like to describe God's love as just one of his characteristics. One of his many characteristics. Maybe one of his least characteristics. You go, oh, David, where are you going with that? Well, it's true. It's true. Trust me, I've seen it firsthand and I've done it. But we would describe God's love as a weakness, as one of his characteristics and one of his least characteristics. We like to discuss like the power of God, the mighty power of God, the judgment of God, the wrath of God. And sometimes we like to misinterpret God's love by saying that God's love can be wrath. God's love can be judgment. And, maybe it is. But the problem is we have a complete definition of what wrath and judgment is. The human idea of wrath, the human idea of judgment is not God's idea of wrath and judgment. And is not God's idea and description, maybe definition of it. Remember, God says, my ways are not your ways. My thoughts are not your thoughts. He says, in fact, he says they're higher. They're greater. You could never comprehend the meaning of what I say. And throughout time, things have, definitions have changed. Ideas of certain words have changed. And even love has become a term of weakness. But in God's thoughts, in God's ways, it is the most powerful, most meaningful, most, intense word that no man and no woman, no beast could ever comprehend. It is greater, is powerful, it is above our heads. We could not comprehend what love truly is. We have an idea, but we have not scratched the surface of what love is. We do not know the meaning of love. We don't understand it. It goes beyond our comprehension, and we could never, ever come to understand what it means. So, going into John 21, verse 15 through 17, this is the love motivation. What a wonderful description of this passage, the love motivation. Maybe if we were motivated by love, how different, how more effective could our ministry be? How more effective could our witness be and our testimony be if we were more motivated by love than righteousness and getting brownie points in heaven? Ouch. Yeah, I know. I stepped on my own toes there. I know. But you have this passage where Jesus, he's been resurrected from the dead. The disciples are still kind of rattled in the brain. How could this be? How could this happen? Wow, I saw this our master, our teacher, nailed to a cross. I saw him die. I seen him buried. His lifeless body put in a tomb. How is he resurrected? I can't comprehend. And then not only that, but Jesus ends up also doing a greater miracle of and then he did whenever he did the first time with the fish, he did it again where they pulled a net-breaking, boat-sinking load of fishes. And so right here we got, so when they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Do you agape me? And more than these, he said to him, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. And the word here is phileo. I phileo you. He said to him, tend my lambs. He said to him again, the second time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Do you agape me? He said to him, yes, Lord, you know that I love you, phileo you. He said to him, shepherd my sheep. He said to him a third time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Do you phileo me? Oh, what just happened there? Jesus is asking a different question. Peter was grieved because of that too. Peter was grieved because he said to him the third time, do you phileo me? That grieved Peter greatly because honesty is coming out. The truth is coming out. Earlier, before the crucifixion, Peter was saying, oh, I agape you more than all these guys. I agape you more than them all. I won't betray you. Then he was told that he was going to deny him 3 times. So the truth is coming out with Peter. Because before, Peter thought he had to be the greatest. Peter thought he had to be the most important. And that he had to love more. Love Jesus more than the rest, to be something beautiful, something extraordinary in the eyes of Jesus. And that wasn't so. And this is the truth. So when he said to him, Lord, you know all things, and you know that I phileo you. Jesus said to him, tend my sheep. Like, good. That's all you need. And Jesus is pretty much saying, there's no way anybody on the face of the planet, past, present, or future, is ever going to truly agape me. Because only I can agape. Because I am agape. All you're ever going to be able to do is phileo me. And that's okay. Phileo, which is a verb, and it means to be a friend, a loving friend. And it comes from philos, philos, to be active, an active, fond friend, to be a neighbor. And that's what Jesus wants. He says to be a neighbor, to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Do unto the least of these, and you do this unto me. And that is what Jesus is trying to get us to understand. You're never going to agape me because only I can agape. Because I am agape. But you can phileo me, and you can phileo the sheep that I need you to go shepherd, that I need you to go feed. So who are the sheep? Those who are not in the church. All this time, I was taught that those were the goats. That were the sheep. No. Because if that was the case, why is it that Jesus talks about the lost sheep, having to go find the lost sheep? Those are the lost sheep. They're not goats. There is no goats. The goats, that would be like Satan and the demons, fallen angels. We're talking about sheep, your brothers and sisters who are lost, who I need you to go and bring into the fold. And let them know that I love them, that they're accepted, that they're not excluded. But what happened? The church somehow flipped it around, turned it around these days, and now we're condemning those and saying, I'm sorry, but you're a bunch of goats. And I got to smack you around. But that's not what Jesus wants. Jesus does not want us to smack them around with the Bible, smack them around with Scripture. No, he wants us to love them, to phileo them, to be a good neighbor. Like State Farm. I'm sorry. To be a good neighbor. To love them more than things, than the materials, like to love Jesus more than the fish that we're eating. You know, that's what it says. He says, do you love it more than this? Do you love me more than this? You know, and so he's saying, go and feed my sheep. Do unto them that, what you have want done unto yourselves. And we all know that we do not like to be condemned. We don't like to be judged. We don't like to be put down. We don't like to be beaten down with our wrongdoings. We don't like to be called goats. We don't like to be treated like garbage. We don't want to be treated like outsiders. We want to be loved. And therefore, this is what we should do, is love. That's all we need. That is all you need is to phileo. All you need is phileo. All you need to do is be a good philos, a good neighbor. to be a fun friend. So then we go to John, 1 John, chapter 4, verse 7 and 8. It says, "Beloved, let us love one another. Let us agape one another. For agapeo," and that's a different word, agapeo is from God. And everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. So we got to agapeo. Agapeo is also to be a good friend and to wish well, to make sure and pray that everyone is doing well, to not speak harm but to speak good over someone. So it's another action of love, to be a good friend, to wish someone well, to never wish anyone harm, to never say, "Oh, you're going to hell." We as Christians, we do that. We do that. I know. I've been one. I've been one. The one who does not love does not know God, for God is agape. Just like I was saying, Jesus says, "I am agape." You're never going to be able to agape like I agape. You can't, because it is a noun. It is a noun. Agape love is a person. It is a living being. Someone great that we could never ever reach, their level of agape, of love. So God is agape. Jesus is agape. So by this love, God was manifested in us, that God has sent his holy begotten Son into the world so that we might live through him. That is true agape, that we get to live through him. And therefore we're supposed to go and phileo the rest of the sheep, the lost sheep, and say, "Hey guys, God, who is agape, became flesh so that and came into this world so we can live in God's agape and live through Jesus in his agape." And that is the good news, guys. That is what we're supposed to be presenting. 1 Corinthians 13 says, "Love is patient, love is kind, love is not jealous, love does not brag, and is not arrogant, does not act unbecomingly, it does not seek its own, is not provoked, does not take into account of wrong suffered." We do that. We do that. "Does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things." Do we do that? I don't think we really go that far like we should. Because we're too concerned. If I'm preaching about love all the time, and only preaching the good news of Jesus Christ and what Jesus Christ came to do, and that God loves us all, then what about sin? What about preaching against sin? What about preaching against what this person does and what that person does? We got to do that. But if that's the case, then we are not enduring in all things. We're not. We're keeping account of wrong, which we're not supposed to do. But it says that love never fails. Agape never fails. All this was agape. God, who is agape, does none of these things. And even does not keep account of wrong suffered. How amazing is that? God, agape, does not do these things. And it says that agape never fails. All these gifts, if you read after that, will fail, will cease, will go away. But agape will not. It will last forever. It is the strongest. This love is the most strongest, most powerful thing existing in this world. Everything will pass away, but this agape will not pass away. It cannot fail. What this agape wants, it will do. or God will do, because God is agape. It will be accomplished. It won't fail. We don't have to worry about the rest of the stuff. We don't have to concern ourselves with sin and wrongdoing. All we have to do is be concerned. Are we phileo-ing God and the lost sheep, the not yet believers? Are we doing that? Or are we trying to be God? God is agape. Agape never fails. God never fails. So we look at John 15. 12 through 13, it says, "This is my commandment, that you agape one another, just as I have loved you, agape you. No greater agapeo has no one than this, that one laid down his life for his friends." That's what we're required to do. See, but we can't agape. No. But we can let agape be agape. We can let God be love. And we could say, this is what agape does and does not do any of these things mentioned in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, then we should not do that. If Jesus keeps no accounts of wrong suffered, we should not either. If Jesus does not judge and condemn, then we should not either. And we should know that he would never fail. I mean, that's one thing that we need to think about. Everything that Jesus has done has always had an effect on someone. When Jesus first met Peter, and he sees him, and Peter was like, "Oh, I've been fishing all day, all night, and I caught nothing. Just go back out and cast your net on the right side of the boat." And he goes, "Okay, crazy man, I'll do that." And so he casts his net out on the other side of the boat, catches all this fish. Then looks at Jesus and goes, "Depart from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." And Jesus didn't even say anything. All he did was love him and help him get fish. But love pulled this from Peter. And Jesus didn't say, "Oh, yes, you are, you disgusting creature." No, he goes, "You're going to be a fisher of men." Same thing with even, Paul, when he was Saul, when on the road to Damascus, all Jesus says was, "Saul, why do you persecute me?" But watch this. And go, see, Jesus is upset because Paul's persecuting him. No, what happens? Saul goes, "Well, I don't even know you. I've never seen you, Lord. Who are you?" And Jesus goes, "You've done this. You're persecuting these people, so you're doing it to me. Again, what you're doing to the least of these, you've done unto me." So Jesus has always had an effect on people, not with bashing, not with putting people down, not with discriminating or casting out or excluding, but every act of love has always changed the heart. You even have this in Acts 16, verse 22 through to the last verse of the chapter, verse 40. When Paul and Silas was in prison, they were singing the songs of praises and praying unto God, and the miracle of God set them all free, broke the shackles and opened all the doors. The jailer thought, "Oh my God, they're all going to escape. God help them. I got to kill myself before my bosses get a hold of me." And when he gets ready to do it, Paul's like, "No, don't do it." And this act of love changed this man. He ends up giving his life to God, takes them to the house, even cleans their wounds. And they're all baptized. But love did that. Not the singing of praises to God, not even the miracle of God, but the act of the love of God through another human being that changes another human being. Not preaching, not condemnation, not sin bashing, not excluding, not going, "Oh, well, you deserve what you get, you're going to hell." No, something as simple as caring for another life and loving someone that changes people. And that's what we got to come to understand, that love changes people. Love is what we need. So, if you like this video, guys, please like and subscribe to my channel. Check out my other stuff. God bless you guys. Thank you.